Hello, family. I'm Carlos Aspinall from the Great Commission Church. Today, we want to share with you a summary of our Sunday teaching, presented as a reflection by our visual commentators and drawn from our sermon notes.
Hello and welcome. We're so glad to have you here for this recap of the powerful sermon we heard last Sunday from our pastor, Carlos Aspinall, at the Great Commission Church in Hanover Park, Illinois. It was a message inspired by the word of the Lord that called all of us to deep reflection.
That's right. The theme was light in the midst of darkness, focusing on the response we as Christians should have towards such a popular celebration as Halloween. And truly, the pastor began with a very impactful story.
Yes, the story of Tamara, a little girl who in 1974 went out to ask for candy and sadly never returned home because she received a poisoned treat. It's a sobering reminder that not everything the world presents as harmless truly is.
Exactly, and that's the central point. We live in a society that has disguised the dark and the spiritual as mere entertainment. Hollywood, social media, everything sells us Halloween as something fun, yet its roots are steeped in occultism.
The pastor used a powerful illustration that really hit home, that of the passive smoker. Even if you're not actively participating, even if you're just observing, you still inhale the same spiritual pollution that fills the air.
Totally. Being passive in the face of evil doesn't free us from its effects. It makes us accomplices. That's why the main call of this message was clear and compelling.
We must be light in the midst of darkness.
To help us understand how to be that light, the pastor developed 3 points based on Ephesians 5:11. The first was, we cannot participate because our identity has changed, drawn from verse 11a, have no fellowship.
And the life application was direct. When, as Christians, we celebrate the same things the world uses to glorify death and fear, we send a confusing message. We must teach our families that our identity in Christ makes us different. We don't celebrate what Jesus already conquered on the cross.
The second point was that Halloween belongs to darkness, and its fruits do not edify, based on verse 11b, the unfruitful works of darkness. Indeed, the works of darkness are unfruitful. They produce nothing good. Instead, they normalize the demonic and open doors to curiosity about the occult.
This point especially speaks to parents. Sometimes because we don't want to seem extreme or because everyone else is doing it, we allow our children to participate. But later we wonder why they have nightmares, fears, or a fascination with dark things. What we plant in them as fun can have spiritual and emotional consequences.
So true. And the third point was a call to action. We are called to expose darkness with our light, based on verse 11c, but rather expose them.
To expose here doesn't mean attacking people. It means revealing darkness with the truth of the gospel.
The pastor's practical application was powerful. Instead of yielding the ground that night, we can reclaim it. We can turn October 31st into a night of light, opening our doors to share gospel tracts instead of candy, spreading hope instead of fear. But he also advised that if you have young children at home, it's better not to participate in handing out tracts that night to avoid confusing them. In that case, simply keep the door closed.
Excellent. So to summarize, the conclusion of the sermon focused on 3 key truths. The first is that Halloween exalts what Christ already conquered: death, fear, and darkness.
The second is that the Christian cannot be a passive spectator, but has been called to be an active light.
And the third is that October 31st should not be a night of fear, but rather a night of mission and an opportunity to evangelize.
To conclude, the pastor left us with 4 questions for self-reflection that we would like to share with you. The first is, have I normalized Halloween as something merely cultural without discerning its spiritual roots? The second, am I instructing my family to live in the light, or am I allowing them to learn about darkness for the sake of fun?
The third is very personal. Am I shining as light, or have I camouflaged myself to avoid conflict or embarrassment? And the fourth, am I willing to be an active instrument of light on a night when many celebrate darkness?
These are questions that undoubtedly challenge us to live our faith in a consistent and courageous way. It was a very timely and necessary message for this generation.
Definitely. And if you missed this sermon or would like to listen to it again, we invite you to visit our website, www.condelgc.org/preachings, or our YouTube channel, @La Grande Commission, LGC.
Until next time.